and welcome back to Let's Play Ys, Book 1 and 2. Adol has gone out of sight. Nah, I'm just kidding, he was hiding behind the menu box. Now last time, I died several times trying to get a relatively easy-to-get item, because, I don't know, I'm terrible at video games. But this time, we should have the proper equipment to not get immediately murdered by these guys. So let's take them out. And of course I do it this time without getting hit at all. Alright, we now have the prison key. The astute viewer might have noticed that there were some barred doors upstairs that looked quite a bit like prison cells. So let's go check that out. There are some more chests to find down here, but most of them are locked. It is quite frustrating to have to deal with those locked treasure boxes. Hopefully we'll be getting the key for it soon. I'm just going the wrong way because everything looks the same. Though, trust me, it does get quite a bit worse in Ys 2 with the mazes, so if you're having trouble right now, just steal up. Now, in this first prison cell, there seems to be a monster who I guess is on timeout. How tragic. But as you saw in the cell over here, there seems to be a woman. Let
Are you here to rescue me? How wonderful it would be to escape these chains. I have been locked up here for too long. My name is Fina.
This text right here is actually Adol speaking, which is unusual for him, but was something that he did in the early games. You may have noticed that very consistently monsters are referred to as goons, which is quite a silly term for them, I think. A key, you say? Aha! Treasure box key. I knew this was the right thing to do. Now, in later versions of the game, you actually would have to properly escort Fina out of here, but in this version of the game, she just walks on out under the pretense that Adol is distracting all the monsters. Considering the rate at which we completely destroy them all, I guess that's not the least feasible thing I've heard. And we get the last item that we can sell at Pim's shop, the necklace. The necklace sells for the least amount of money out of any item that you can sell to Pim, a mere 800 gold. But that's still 800 gold we wouldn't have otherwise, so we may as well take that along. Time to do some treasure collecting. It's worth remembering that there were also some chests at the start of the area that we couldn't get access to, but now that we have the key, we should be able to get them. Right. Looks like it's on the other side. But fortunately, it's not too bad of a backtrack. After I get this chest, I may just duck out real quick to quickly restore my health. Oop. That was a bit awkward. The Mask of Eyes. Well, let's put that on, see what it does. Renders everything like an old black and white film. But it looks like there aren't any monsters around anymore. How strange. Oh! Well, it looks like the Mask of Eyes prevents us from actually seeing monsters that are right in front of us. Wonder what its purpose is. Surely it can't be used just to blind yourself. Alright, we're full. Let's go on. Suppose I could duck back to get the chest that was back at the beginning, but that's nothing we need right now. It is worth noting that once you get strong enough, enemies will be completely incapable of doing damage to you. So eventually we can just run these guys without any fear of retaliation at all, because our defense stat will just be too high for them to overcome. However, this does work in the reverse. There are enemies who can be too strong for Adol to even hope to damage. And in fact, there's one boss that I'm pretty sure most players will probably run into this problem on their first time trying it. Anyways, here's the silver bell that we were looking for. Should take that back to the mayor when we get a chance. We're still at a point where we can kill enemies quickly enough and the experience gains needed to level up are low enough that 1 experience actually isn't too much to ask for another level up. But this will change as we get farther into the game and the experience requirements start to become more and more ridiculous, shall we say. We've accessed another part of the shrine, and the enemies get a bit tougher here, but also a bit more worth killing. As you can see, we've got these weird pulsating head things. And the ivory key. This is the first of a set of keys that we need to get in order to progress in the dungeon. If you don't have the treasure box key at this point, then you'd be completely halted in your progress. Whoop. Perhaps I should duck out for a bit and go get some supplies. There is actually a very worthwhile reward for returning that silver bell, so that's something we should do right now. Hopefully we'll be able to find out what the use for that Mask of Eyes is. There are still some things we need to do in this shrine, but they're not things we need to worry about right now. Let's just quickly heal up real quick. And be redundant while we're at it. It's also worth it to remember that chest that we passed on the way here. Anything in the corner? My memory isn't always perfect, so it's worth it to check things out just in case I am indeed forgetting something. And it's a chest that we already got. One of the few non-locked chests in this area. Now what do we have in here? The armor ring. Now this is actually pretty nice. This is our first piece of ring equipment. Rings have a variety of effects, and the armor ring has quite a useful one. Whenever we have the armor ring equipped, we take half damage. These, as you can imagine, have pretty substantial effects on how we tackle enemies. However, no ring takes effect while in the middle of a boss fight. Every ring's effect is cancelled out when you're fighting a boss. As you can see, we're already hitting the point where these enemies are incapable of damaging us. So if you want to grind out a level in complete safety, you could do it here. Although at this point, it's still best just to do that at the field, since everything gives us 1 experience anyway. So yeah, it looks like the thieves' story checked out. They didn't take it, and they didn't hide it in the shrine. Someone has just been going around stealing silver equipment. Now, for completing this side quest, we get a very little amount of experience, but more importantly, we get the power ring. And the power ring doubles our damage output. This is the ring you're going to want to have equipped in most situations. Generally speaking, the double damage that you deal will allow you to kill enemies before they can even hurt you, and that's typically more valuable than the extra defense that the armor ring will give you, but there are a number of situations where you won't be able to kill enemies before they kill you, but the extra defense from the armor ring will allow you to just get past them. Typically, I like to equip the armor ring in very narrow corridors with enemies who I simply can't avoid and they do way too much damage to me under normal circumstances. It's also worth noting that there are 5 rings in the game, but the 2 we just got are the ones that we're going to have equipped in most combat situations. There is one other ring that we're going to have equipped pretty much a decent number of times, but won't be actually using it during fights. The other 2 rings, one is just kind of, it doesn't really do anything great, and the other is a plot advancement ring. But I'm sure we'll be seeing all of those later. Okay, just have to remember my way through. And I believe I'm going the wrong way. Or was I? Nope, no, I'm going the right way. Forgive me if I wander and ramble for a bit. Nothing here. Even though it looks like a pathway, it is not. It may be worth it to go back and get some better equipment briefly, but I think I'm fine for the time being. As you can see, these lion men are a bit more sturdy than most, but nothing we can't handle. Anytime you see a golden statue like that, just like the one at the start of the area, we can walk into it and get teleported somewhere. I'm actually going to turn the game speed down to slow here and make a quick save. Just note, whenever you turn off the game and reload it, the game speed automatically goes back to slow, so make sure to change it if you want it at fast. And we get a very good piece of equipment here, the Silver Shield. As you can see, this is actually the 4th tier of shield equipment that we can get, which makes it substantially better than the armor we have equipped right now. As you can see, that guy would have been doing huge damage to us before, but now it's slightly more manageable. I believe I can turn the game back up to fast for just a little bit. The defense boost we got from that was actually so significant, the lion men can't actually hurt us anymore. And that is always a wonderful sound when I see it. Or hear it, rather. What's this? You can see a little bit of a indentation in the wall there, but nothing I can seem to do with it at the moment. Want to play it safe with these guys, as they can still hurt us, and they were hitting us for 4 damage apiece. But we do get a heal potion here. Now, is there any way we can get through this wall? Well, this is what the Mask of Eyes truly does, is it allows us to get through those walls. That was the first time that we used the Mask of Eyes, but it will not be the last. Now, in original versions of the game, the Mask of Eyes was a bit less helpful, or rather, the game design itself was a bit less helpful in regards to using the Mask of Eyes. The doorways that you could use the Mask of Eyes to get through were not actually discernible just from the wall itself. To actually find them, you just had to stumble around randomly with the Mask of Eyes equipped. Now, if we go down this long hallway, we will find that there is a door here, and it looks like it leads to a boss area, but we actually need one more key before we can get through. I'm going to turn the game speed back down to slow again, because I'm quite low on health, and I don't want to get wrecked by these guys. Anytime I see a lion man, I will take the advantage to take him out, because that is free experience right there. Ah! As you can see, sometimes the way enemies get bounced just happens to go a bit weirdly. But it's nothing worth crying over. I could use the heal potion to heal up right now, but I want to see if I can get the most out of it. The ideal situation is I get a level up and I've got a little bit more HP to heal up. Also, if I can heal up after a point where I'm not really worried about these guys killing me, that would be nice too. Actually, let's see here. Yep. So I can just warp, take out the lion man, warp back. Oh, it looks like you can still do a little bit of damage to me. Better be careful. And there we go. Ooh. But we got what we came for, the marble key. This is the other key that we need to get to where we need to be. Anyways, now that we've got that, we'll use the heal potion. Unlike other items in your inventory, the heal potion is an active item that you have to deliberately use. I suppose I could turn it back up to fast here, but since we're about to get into a boss fight anyways, I would just change it back in a few seconds. And this is the first boss where I'd strongly encourage you to turn the speed back down to slow, because it can get a little tricky otherwise. I like to save before entering boss rooms, but it's actually not necessary. The game always throws down a checkpoint whenever you enter a boss area. We take this chest, and the centipede in the wall comes to life. And this guy is pretty simple. You simply have to run into his tail. Running into his head results in damage. And this is where bosses get tricky if you're playing on fast mode, because as you can see, this guy can turn pretty quickly. And if you're on fast, he can turn faster than you can actually react to it. And if his head's in you for more than a second, your health just plummets. But we get a level up out of it. And from this chest, we get the first Book of Ys, the Volume of Hadal. Well, we got the first book. I'd say it's worth going to talk to Sarah about it. But with that taken care of, I don't think I really need to bore you with the long walk back, so we'll save it up here. And when I come back next time, we will report to Sarah on our progress. I hope to see you then, and please, have a nice day.